It's Saturday, February 20th. Right now it's 7 p.m., thereabout, 7:10. Here's what God has taught me this year and taught me from shaving my beard. Over the last year, God has delivered me from so many fears. Things that I didn't realize were controlling me, things that I didn't realize had authority in my life. Um, Simple little things, simple, like I don't even know where to start. Cannabis, for one. It started off, I was afraid to even tell people that I was using it because I was trained to believe that it was so bad, dare to keep kids off drugs. To get over it, I had to step out in faith. So once God told me this isn't evil, this isn't something that's bad, this isn't something that's harmful, it's something that needs to be regulated. You need to be responsible with it, but it can be used to help you, to help your mind go to a place where it's willing to work through the issues that you don't want to work through, that are too hard to work through on your own. And so I had to step out in faith and say, I believe you, God. And to do it, I had to confess, I had to talk about it. So there was a physical act that I had to do in order to break the fear off my mind. When I did it, and God told me exactly what to do for me, for it to work in my life, um, and I did it. I followed through, and the moment I did what God wanted me to do, it broke the fear in my life. Now after that, I also went through, let's see, fears. Wow, so many fears. Fears about how I looked. So let's talk about that one. My whole life, I've been reluctant to believe that I was a handsome man. I've never believed I was a good-looking fella because, I mean, my brothers have called me cesspool since I was 3. Cesspool is a steaming pile of piss and poop, and that was my nickname. That's just what people called me. I never really believed I had any worth, and it didn't. They didn't do it because they wanted me to feel less than myself. They did it because it was funny. I had really stinky diapers, but they had no idea that nickname would put such a curse on my life. Because when you speak something, you can't help it. It creates. And my family, my whole family, nicknamed this for me and created a fear in my life. Just about how I looked, about how I felt about myself. And in order to get over that, I had to start growing my hair and my beard. And I stopped caring about anyone else, but I had to do a physical thing. I had to do something to say, God, I believe that no matter what you make me into, I'm going to be okay. That you're going to love me, and people will love me, and I'm beautiful, and I am amazing, and I am loved. That didn't happen automatically. I was afraid. I had issues there. And so I had to step out in faith and do something, and that was not cut my hair. Now, in the middle of all of that, God told me, do not shave your beard until you become afraid again. Until something that hits you makes you afraid and you feel like God's not in control anymore. If you feel that way, if you feel like God isn't in control in that moment, that's when you have to shave your beard again. Okay, God, that's what I'll do. And that was 16 months ago. For 16 months, he has delivered me from fears, but never for a moment did I feel out of control. He would show things to me and be like, you see this one? This fear that you're holding on to, you don't even realize you're holding on to it. And I'd be like, oh, there it is. And in an instant, I would give it to him and he would take it away because I would confess, this is yours, Lord. And I would step forward and do exactly what he asked me to do. It is usually something very simple, some kind of action, and my faith would make me well. I would get delivered because of my faith. Now, faith takes an action. And over the year, I have been figuring this out over and over and over. He said, I will provide for you. And I went, okay, Lord. And what do you want me to do to make sure I provide for myself? This is my fear of death. Because if you don't provide for yourself, you're screwed. You're going to die. You don't have what it takes to live anymore. And so in that one, he made me stop asking anyone for anything. And he said, watch, I'll provide. I will give you food. I will bring you money. I will give you a job. And I will bring it to you. And my act of faith in that case was to stop. Oh my gosh, that was hard. It's still hard. I'm still doing it. I don't do anything that somebody doesn't come to me and say, hey, will you do this with me? Will you play a game with me? Will you come to youth group? Will you come to a church meeting? Will you come and help me with my computer? Will you this or that? And my act of faith in every moment is to say, here's what God wants to do here. Let's do it. And so everything I do now is an act of faith. And when you walk out, when you step out with an act of faith, God meets you with a miracle every time, with a deliverance every time, with Him showing you that He is in control. Now, I can tell you're asking, what does any of this have to do with my beard? Well, you see, I hit that point where I felt like God wasn't in control. I hit that point where I didn't know what to do. You see, I snapped one night and I just started yelling. Sorry, Marty, I have to tell the story. I started yelling at my own wife. I didn't hit her. I didn't knock her down. I didn't do anything like that. But I yelled with everything that was frustrating me inside me. And I cracked. And by the time I got done, my wife was crying. And I realized what had come out of me. And I went, Lord, where did that come from? That wasn't God. That was me. That was my old me. And it came out. After 16 months, it came out. After all this time, I became Satan. I became the accuser. I became the devil. It wasn't anyone else. It was me. What do I do, Lord? I was afraid. I was afraid of me. Am I allowed to say that? I was afraid of me? This guy, this property of Jesus' nut job freako that does these weird things and keeps on telling people that Jesus is the love of everything and is the only thing that matters, this Jesus freak. Can he do that? I did that. And I went, Lord, how do I get rid of this? He said, now you have to shave your beard. You see, I needed an act of faith. I needed something that I could give to God in an act of faith to say, I believe you, Lord. I believe you when you said this didn't have to be in me. I believe you when you said you would take this out of me. And as my act of faith, I shaved my beard. And guess what? He delivered me again. And now I get to share it. I get to tell the world that you don't need to go through life living in fear, being afraid of everything. You take what you're afraid of and figure out where your fear is and you turn it and you put it on God. Because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It doesn't change how fear works. Fear still controls me. And fear still makes me angry, but the culmination and the end point, the boiling point of my anger ends in forgiveness. Because it's a righteous anger that comes from God. I'm angry at the sin in me. I'm angry at Lucifer, who wells up from the traumas of my past. And I'm done with him. Find your faith Find your action and go do it. God will meet you right there.